What double standard are you tired of? Hey, what's up Reddifiers? Today we are back with another Ask Reddit video. Your boss getting angry if you're a couple minutes late, but then expects you to have no problem regularly staying on 2+ hours after your shift is meant to end. That's theft. My grandfather ran a business where a lot of workers took the bus. Sometimes, he would ask them to stay past the time of the last bus. Now mind you, this is 2 to 3 people, so it was manageable, but if he did, he would drive them all home himself. A few guys who had worked for him 30 to 40 years ago showed up at his funeral to pay respects and all of them brought that up. Man, when I worked at Steak and Shake when I was 19, I didn't drive and told them the last bus left at 11:30 p.m. And yet I was constantly made to stay and miss my bus. I had to wait all night a few times because couldn't get a ride. Till like 6 in the morning. Some businesses just don't care. They do care buddy, but only about money. I actually quit a job after my boss announced that he bought a time clock. I had been working massive overtime for 2 years straight. We're talking 10 to 12 hour days 6 days a week. Then after 2 years of that BS I had the audacity of flexing a couple of hours a few mornings when I had a friend visiting. The same day he announced that he bought a time clock, I got a doctor's notice that I was burned out. I ended up suing, and winning, for the massive uncompensated overtime. Why is dental insurance different from health insurance? Aren't teeth part of my overall health? What the heck? Because teeth are luxury bones. Dumb. The dentist lobby game is strong. They've pushed for decades to not be considered part of the health industry and they banked because of it. Sure, I understand it's a specialty, but my teeth are attached to my skull. Eyes too. Yes. I can barely see without glasses. I certainly can't drive or do most kinds of work without them. Why does insurance treat it as a separate thing? Politicians being able to openly violate the law and nobody does anything. COVID restrictions applying to regular people but not celebrities or politicians. My favourite was UK Health Minister carrying on an affair with his assistant whilst going on TV and telling us not to hug our loved ones. Sounds like he wasn't hugging his loved ones either. Maybe they aren't loved ones anymore? Consumers are expected to curb the use of their plastic waste and carbon by corporations and regulatory bodies alike. While Nestle will destroy a natural habitat to make bottled water in plastic bottles and dump the waste into your grandma's urn if it's affordable. Kers Jessup made a great video on that the other day. They talk about how consumers reducing their carbon footprint is not the solution by a light year. But then they made the most important point at the end that it seems everyone forgets. Consumers and voters showing preference for eco-friendly alternatives generates the political and economic drive to shift to a better option. People who care about meat alternatives gaining widespread adoption buying those products in their infancy are the reason you can buy Beyond Meat at Target. Similar for things like plastic bag bans, politicians would never consider a ban if they didn't think they had the will of the people backing them. I actually got hired by Nespresso once and didn't make it past the training because of how off-putting it was to hear everyone pretend that Nestle was going around saving the environment. They had videos of George Clooney in the rainforest and old guys in labs playing with dirt. Talking about how every cup of Nespresso is helping climate change and all this garbage, and I could never bring myself to tell someone that. At one point I actually confronted the Nespresso rep telling us all of this, much to her horror, and she went into total panic mode talking about how Nestle sends one of their workers once every quarter to make sure there are no more child workers, and even threw in an aside that Nestle and Nespresso are basically 2 different companies. So celebrities lecturing about climate change when they have the carbon footprint of a small town. Jason Momoa's GQ interview recently made me so mad with this. He kept talking about how plastic was destroying the ocean and then talked about how much stuff he traveled with. This is the guy with his own line of bottled water. I saw a promo for it, and he said something like, "It's just bottled water, but I feel good about it and my retina's detached from the involuntary rolling." To be fair, it is canned water, not bottled water, because delicious, pure drinking water in an aluminium can. Because aluminium gets recycled. Plastic doesn't. Honestly, I don't care about the carbon footprint of individuals. The concept of carbon footprint was invented by BP to push the responsibility of climate change onto individuals instead of industry and government regulation. These celebrities are not wrong, and completely eliminating their carbon footprint won't do fuck all to help climate change. This kind of mentality is exactly what BP was hoping people would do: get the public to criticize any wealthy celebrity or person of influence for being a hypocrite. If you are poor, you can't talk about climate change because you have no skin in the game. If you are rich, you can't talk about climate change because you are a hypocrite.